Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It will be in English. Angliščini. Hare Krishna. So we're continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 2, verse number 9. Dharmasya hyapavargasya nartortayo pakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamolabhaya hi smrita. Dharmasya hyapavargasya nartortayo pakalpate nartasya dharmakantasya kamolabhaya hi smrita. Dharmasya hyapavargasya nartortayo pakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamolabhaya hi smrita. Dharmasya hyapavargasya nartartvaya kalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamolabhaya hi smritaha. Dharmasya hyapavargasya nartortaya pakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamolabhaya hi smritaha. Dharmasya, occupational engagement. He, certainly. Apavargyasya, ultimate liberation. Na, not. Artha, end. Artaya, for material gain. Upakalpate is meant for. Na, neither. Artasya, of material gain. Dharma eka antasya, for one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service. Kama, sense gratification. Labhaya, attainment of. He, exactly, Smrita, is described by the great sages. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. We have already discussed that pure devotional service to the Lord is automatically followed by perfect knowledge and detachment from material existence. But there are others who consider that all kinds of different occupational engagements, including those of religion, are meant for material gain. The general tendency of any ordinary man in any part of the world is to gain some material profit in exchange for religious or any other occupational service. Even in the Vedic literatures, for all sorts of religious performances, an allurement of material gain is offered, and most people are attracted by such allurements or blessings of religiosity. Why are such so-called men of religion allured by material gain? Because material gain can enable one to fulfill desires, which in turn satisfy sense gratification. This cycle of occupational engagements includes so-called religiosity followed by material gain, and material gain followed by fulfillment of desires. Sense gratification is the general way for all sorts of fully occupied men. But in the statement of Sutta Goswami, as per the verdict of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is nullified by the present shloka. One should not engage himself in any sort of occupational service for material gain only, nor should material gain be utilized for sense gratification. How material gain should be utilized is described as follows. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. First I would like to ask for blessings so we can speak something today on devotional service and something that's going to be of some benefit for all of us so that we can further engage in this blissful activity of Padayatra. So, this chapter, Divinity and Divine Service, is the beginning of explanations given by Sutta Goswami, who was questioned by the sages. So he's trying to establish what devotional service is, what this material creation is meant for, and what the role of the living entities is, what their occupation should be, basically. So this chapter contains many famous verses. We already went through a few and there's more to follow. And this particular verse kind of describes that no matter at what stage of social order you are, no matter what your occupation is, you should always be aware that the goal of all your activities is to ultimately achieve self-realization, to establish yourself in loving devotional service with the Lord. So Prabhupada gave about like 4 or 5 classes on this verse. I didn't manage to go through all of them, but he mentions many times these 4 goals of human life: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And these are all achieved through following varnashrama order. And then there's, actually it's 5 panch purusharthas, because there's devotional service also. So that's the 5th one. But that one is kind of like above it. It's transcendental. And these all 4 other ones are material. So, in the purport, Prabhupada says that one shouldn't, this is towards the end, he says, one shouldn't engage in religious activities for material gain only. So that doesn't mean just material gain. But if we would just have that as our ultimate goal, so that means if we perform our activities just like people go out and perform their jobs, some people are builders. We have these guys that are just doing the doors, the glass work here. So this is their occupation. And similarly, our occupation is performing devotional service. And for us, it's a little bit easier to see, okay, what the goal of our occupation is, because we are hearing every day, right? That hearing, chanting, performing service in the temple, serving the Vaishnavas, reading. This is all meant to connect with the Lord and to get to know Him. And it's kind of much more easier to see that. But if we are outside and have our regular worldly occupations, just like these guys that are working on the building right now, it's much more difficult to connect, to see it for what it really is. And what happens is, through material development, we kind of fall behind on seeing what the goal is. So this is what happened with the current civilization. Everyone, they're just performing something. They're fulfilling their everyday duties towards their families, the society, their bodies. But they're not really aware of where it all leads to, what the end goal is. And because it's been going on for so long, and there was no proper guidance, it kind of like culminated in the society that we are seeing today. And it's just like Sridhar Maharaj says, it's a jungle out there, right? So people are like animals, and they're just running here and there, and no matter what their social position is, or even in their education. Furthermore, if they're more educated they are, the more they're atheistic, the more they're led astray, and they also lead others in the wrong direction. So what happens is that this material development, it's hampering the goal of life. We are getting more and more engrossed in these fine arrangements that we are achieving through our technological advancement and advancement of other fields of society. And we're forgetting what the real goal of life is. And we're just specializing in this material sphere so much. So this material sophistication makes us turn away from God. And then the animal society comes into existence. So what is the base of it is that we identify ourselves for something that we're not, right? Maharaj is explaining this on practically every class, that we're not these bodies, and that because we identify as such, then all our activities, all our aspirations, all our endeavors are towards the wrong direction, because our vantage point is wrong, right? So it's really funny, because Prabhupada also, right? He was just again and again just like pondering on this same point, that how we have to understand that we're spirit souls, and if we identify as anything else than that, that's going to bring a lot of troubles, a lot of trouble. Basically, it's just going to make us miss the target 100% of the time, because we're shooting at the wrong goal, at our own goal, basically. So even if you are very much advanced, very much educated, or you are just a street sweeper, or nowadays the modern version is the bin collector, it doesn't matter, because we are all diseased by the same disease of this upadhi, that we're these bodies and everything that comes with it. So this verse describes that even people who are supposed to be the most advanced in the human society, the most connected with transcendence, and the ones who should lead others towards it, who have some higher understanding of reality, they also don't understand what it is, what their occupation should represent, and they don't have much realization. So they're leading people astray, and this is what we can see when it says that they perform religious duties, religious occupation for material gain. And this is the general tendency in this day and age. So what that means is they don't see it as a service to God, as a service to humanity, to all living entities, that there will be medium through which people are going to connect, all living entities are going to connect with God. But they just see it as another means of getting some monetary gain. So it's just like a regular job, like any other. Just like somebody is a postman or a clerk, somebody is a priest, like that. So they're offering different services and that they charge money for, or they at least expect some return for it. So this is just like when Prabhupada was really young and Gaur Mahan was hosting all these sadhus at their house, and then Prabhupada is saying, even though he was just a small boy, he could see that some of them are genuine and some of them are just doing it for the sake of feeding their family. Because the culture was that whenever a sadhu visits a home, you offer him a meal, you offer him some foodstuffs, a place to sit, some drink, and then he shares something, he gives some illumination to you, because you don't have time for it. You don't have time to inquire spiritually, to read the scriptures, to engage in spiritual matters, because you have to run the household. So the sages were so kind that they used to visit and then gave you something that you could kind of improve on until the next time, right? And Prabhupada was seeing that some of them, they were not actual sages. They were just dressed as such. So they just took it as their occupation, as the means to maintain their livelihood and their families. And I was always wondering, how did Prabhupada see that? How did he kind of see through their disguise. And somehow I managed to spend quite some time in Vrindavan in these past few years, and just recently I started to see a little bit. You can see there are so many people there begging, so many saintly personalities on the street, especially where there's some big temple where a lot of pilgrims come. There's a whole assembly of them. And at the beginning, when you come there, you just know, okay, ISKCON sannyasis, they look like this, they have uttariya, they have tilak. They're kind of like, you have a certain image of them, right? Somewhere danda, like that. And then you start seeing some other sannyasis also, and you wonder, who are these guys, right? And usually these are like some Gaudiya Mat sannyasis who are there. So they look kind of similar, very much similar to our sannyasis. Just a little bit different. They have white bead bag or a little bit more facial hair, like that. But then there are some other sages also who are not in our sampradaya, or not even in any of the 4 bona fide sampradayas. They might be for some other school of thought. And you don't know exactly what their standard garb is, what their standard tilak is. But then you start to see, like, some people, they wear saffron, but it's a little bit like off. The shade is off. And then they wear some strange neck beads. They're not like really like what the sadhus wear. They're kind of like the ones that you can just buy in the shop and as a souvenir, kind of like that. They're not like wearing them full time, you can see. Or the tilak is a little bit off, like that. Then you start seeing, oh, this guy, I don't see it. I think that he is just like professional beggar, like that. So there's so many of them. And yeah, I guess because Prabhupada was exposed to them so much, this was kind of like his natural ability to see through the disguise, even later on. And yeah, this is what this verse is describing. And it's not only in Vrindavan, right? It's everywhere it's like that. Even here we can see in the Christian priests, right? They are blessing the cars, blessing the horses, blessing the motorcycles, this and that. So how is that connecting people with God, right? People just want these things to kind of enhance their arrangements that they accumulated, to kind of put a little spark on it, right? To put a final shining layer on top of the car, right? Kind of like that. But they're not really thinking, okay, now this car is going to be sanctified and I'm going to use it in the Lord's service. No, they just want extra blessings, extra security for their own plans, for their own arrangements that they have. It has nothing to do with them being servants of God. It's just them establishing themselves as gods, basically. And the Vedic literature also offers many blessings like that, right? If you read this passage, or if you chant this mantra, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that. So people are attracted by it, and this is why they're doing it. Now, for instance, when I was in the UK, and then there's a big kind of like culture of the temple devotees visiting the congregational members' houses, and they're inviting you all the time. Please come to our house. Please come to our house. Please visit us. And I was wondering why is it like that? Like why it's kind of like their pastime that they have a temple devotee, a sadhu, visiting them, and they invite all their other family members, and there's I don't know, some birthday celebration of their granddaughter, or they just bought a new place and they want to kind of like inaugurate it, or this or that. And then I was speaking with one devotee who's there for about 15 years already. He's from Croatia, and he was telling me, yeah, this is just kind of like their pastime. You're like their pet. They're not actually inquiring from you, or they don't want really to progress in devotional life. It's just their cultural thing that they have a sage coming, and then they feed him nicely, and they show him around and present all the members of the family, and this person just graduated from this college and he just opened a new shop of this and that, and then you're just like, yeah, that's nice, and then they give you a little donation, and then off you go, and then again until the next time. And they're not really trying to progress, or they just see it as I don't know, as if here somebody would invite a singer or a performer or something like that. When they have some more money and they celebrate, and then they invite someone famous and he comes there and he makes his appearance like that. So this is what they do. And this is what this verse is describing. And why is it for? Because they see that it gives them blessings, it gives them the facility to expand their material arrangements. So when you have some results from your religious, pious activity, you can use these results for sense gratification. And Suta Goswami is saying that shouldn't be done in this way. We should use the results in a proper way. And how to use these results in a proper way? The verse says, the Parodharma verse says, how we should use the supreme occupation is that we use everything for devotional service. So whatever facilities we have, we should use it to develop our Krishna consciousness. And we can see that people don't do that, right? People, even as the latter part of the verse says, that one who is already on this path of devotional service and is already performing it shouldn't use the results of it for sense gratification. So one kind of goes like from the base level all the way up, how we should connect, how we should be always aware that all our activities should be performed for the ultimate goal. And the other one describes once we are already performing that we shouldn't go back, fall back down, back to sense gratification, because then it kind of defeats the purpose. And the first lines of the purport, it says that pure devotional service is followed by perfect knowledge and detachment from material existence. That's because just by performing it, we exhibit as if we understand everything, right? Our activities kind of like ooze, or how do you say, evaporate the understanding that this is what should be done, because this is exactly why the creation is for, to perform devotional service. So by us doing it, it means, okay, we understood what it is. We understand what matter is, what life is, who we are, who God is, and what should be done. So that's the perfect understanding that we exhibit through performing it, even though we don't really have it yet. But acharyas, Prabhupada, our spiritual masters, they kind of established the daily activities, the sadhana, in such a way that is secured within this realization. And at the same time, there's detachment from material existence, which comes through us just performing regular devotional service, and then we don't have time, we don't have energy to engage in material activities. And at the same time, we also develop the understanding, right? And then we are detached from it, because we see, as Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that in the purport to this verse, he says, after examining the nature of material gain, one becomes detached. Because we can see, okay, if I'm going to work for this many years, if I'm going to invest so much in my career. This is going to be the result. I'm going to get so much money. I'm going to get this facility. I'm going to have this asset, this and that, like that, this social position. But then you can see that all these things, they're temporary. So it's all just shrama. It's all without real effect. Just some time ago, a few years ago, we were in in Soho Street, in the temple, and Kanama Maharaj had some program. And then after the program, everyone was kind of like socializing, and then Kesha Maharaj said, even if you win the rat race, you are still a rat. So this is basically what we're doing. And even none of us are going to be so like successful in this material race as some people out there, right? None of us is going to get like billions of dollars. Okay, maybe somebody is going to become a millionaire one day. But I'm highly doubtful that somebody's going to like take over some huge multinational company or something like that. So we're never going to be the top rat. So why even try, right? Even if you are the top rat, you're still a rat, like Maharaj said. And we're not rats. They can be rats. We don't want to be rats, right? We want to be devotees. We want to spend time with Krishna. We don't want to spend time running and biting each other and fighting over our meals and living in nasty places and do nasty things. And Sridhar Maharaj says in the class on this verse also that we should use all our assets, everything we have, all our abilities, all this material gain that is also a side effect of performing a devotional service. We should use it to further spread Krishna consciousness, because this is exactly how we got it, right? We got it by the mercy of the acharyas who went off their way. They went to do some extra effort just for the sake of us getting the mercy. Otherwise, none of us would get this knowledge, right? Prabhupada went to the West, then his disciples went to all these other countries. They came to former Yugoslavia and they started distributing books here. And then their disciples distributed books, and somehow one of these books came into our hands, and we read the books, and then we saw, okay, this is of some value, let me investigate more. And now, today, we're here, we're sitting here. And many of us have some history of devotional service, and we have to do the same thing now, right? Because this is, just like you have these drinks, right? You have orange juice, and then you look on, it's a really nice label, and then you look on the description, and it says, just now we were drinking this, what is it, Fanta, after the Padayatra, and it says, as if this is such a like good thing, it says 5% real juice. Like what? Right? Like they enhanced it from before because it was just like, I don't know, 1% or 2% maybe. So they're very proud of it. It's 5% now. But we want 100% orange juice, right? And this is basically what we are. We are 100% made of mercy, made of the austerity that other devotees undertook to bring us to this level. So this is our ingredient label, 100% effort of others, mercy of other devotees. So we should now do the same. And this is what Padayatra is, basically. And Sridhar Maharaj says, not only we should further Krishna consciousness of others, but primarily we should further Krishna consciousness of ourselves. Because you cannot give what you don't have. And So that means also spending effort, spending time, spending facilities for our own Krishna consciousness is gonna help further the Krishna consciousness of all the living entities. And these go hand in hand. And yeah, Padayatra is a very good opportunity to do that. And it's one of the easiest programs that you can tune into and just immediately be on the transcendental level. It's so easy. You just have to come here and stay here and go with us outside. And immediately you are doing all these things that are prescribed and required, and you're acting as if you're already self-realized sage. So it's so fun, right? Yeah, and this is basically what we all should do. This is the true religion. This is what religion is about, actually. That we are trying to connect with God and trying to connect others with God also. But nowadays the religion is just one of the material upadhis. You could see in the UK, we were just speaking with Maharaj, here it's not so much, but there's so many different religious groups, and you meet them on the street every day. There's Muslims preaching very vigorously, and Christian like fanatics, especially the Indians. These are the worst, South Indian Christians, incredible. And they're like fighting with you over the general populace that you're trying to preach to on the street. Sometimes it happens that we're just setting up the table and we're trying to distribute books, and then there's one guy in Hounslow. This is like west of London, and I like him so much because he's kind of like our secret agent. He thinks he's fighting against us, but he's doing very good service for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. So what he does is, whenever we go there, he's there without fail. So probably he's there more times than we are. And he's already waiting for us there, and then he's got his like cross, and now he even upgraded. He's got like a screen, TV screen on the street, and he made a special stand for it so he can mount it on a bench near the tree. And there's like different videos going on, basically just saying how you should surrender to Jesus, and only Jesus is the only way. And if you accept him, then you're excused of all your misdoings, and then you're gonna achieve the ultimate destination, heaven. And when we set up few, like 10, 20 meters away from him, usually, and then he's got a mic, and he's always just commenting or like giving his like tattva class, but in relation to us. So when people kind of like walk past our stand and they look at the books, or we're speaking with someone, he's saying, Jesus is the only way. If you're gonna read any other scripture, this is basically what Satan wrote, and you're gonna go to hell. Or no spirituality is gonna save you. No yoga, no exercise, no mantra, nothing's gonna keep you away from hell if you don't surrender to one and only Lord Jesus Christ. Like that. So he's kind of making a really nice background for us. And then people, what happens is, instead of people turning away from us, people come to us and they're like, this guy is too much. This guy is like, what's wrong with him? Like, show me what you have. And then they come and they're like, this is incredible. Like, how do they think that they're gonna get some people like on their board? Like, these are really like so primitive. And then they like show support to us, and they feel sorry for us. Many people come and they're like, I'm so sorry, man. This guy is really like incredible. I feel so bad for you. And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's very nice, actually. And then just the other day, two senior ladies, white ladies, like maybe like in their 60s. They were just giving donation and collecting the books from one of our boys. And then this guy just comes over and grabs their hand, and he's pulling their hand like so they will not like receive the books. And he's like, "Don't take these books." He's trying to prevent them like that. And we were just laughing, right? Everyone was laughing. So it's really funny. And why is it so? Because he thinks that what we're doing is against God, is against his identification as the servant of the Lord Jesus Christ. And this is his upadhi, right? And then he's fighting so vigorously against it. He thinks that we're like the #1 Satan servants in the country, right? Nobody is as fallen as we are, and nobody is so energetically trying to pull others down also as we do. This is his viewpoint. And this is because he doesn't understand. He's not truly religious. He's not spiritual. He just identifies with some particular part of religious plethora that is offered. And that's why he sees us as enemies, as somebody who's like working against God. And because we have higher understanding, we don't fight against him. We actually like him so much. We love him. And he's a really good devotee. Yeah. So, yeah, we should all work together and establish the kingdom of God as it was meant to be. Just like in the old days in India, right? Like Puri, Jagannath Puri. The whole city is just meant for service of Lord Jagannath. The farmers are growing the vegetables that are going to be offered as bhoga, cooked and offered as bhoga to Lord Jagannath in one of the 56 offerings that he receives throughout the day. And there's whole lineages of families that are growing flowers for the Lord. So this is just like their occupation, right? Occupational duty, their dharma. They grow flowers for the Lord. Just like we have here in Ljubljana, a little resemblance of it in Gautam family, right? They're like the flower family for Panchatattva, like that. And or like in Vrindavan, all these shops, they were originally meant for the deities. They were owned by the deities, just like the land also. Even nowadays the land sometimes is written in deity's name. So nobody can inherit it, nobody can claim it. So like Gopinath Bazaar is for Gopinath deity, or Loy Bazaar, the famous Loy Bazaar, is for Radha Madan Mohan deity, like that. And by us executing what this verse is saying, we're going to establish this also in contemporary society. And then everyone's going to kind of fall into this system, fall into place automatically. There's going to be a very little endeavor needed to just be situated in the right position and execute the right activities for the good of all. And yeah, this is the ultimate understanding. And I would just like to conclude with the saying of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his famous line when he says, "Trust no past, nor in the future dwell at all, but live with the times that are with thee, and the progress you should call." So that means we shouldn't think that we cannot do anything today. Devotional service, as it was presented by Srila Prabhupada to us, it's very practical, and we can execute it no matter what position we're in. So also today we're going to go out. Before that we're going to do some services here. Then we're going to go out. We're going to chant. We're going to dance. We're going to distribute books. So it's something that we can do no matter what situation we're in. And we shouldn't just hope for the best in the future or think how bad things happened for us in the past and that's why I cannot do that or I cannot do this. No, what I can do today is that. And this is devotional service. It's very practical. So let us go out today and spread the ecstatic movement of Lord Chaitanya. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So questions, comments? Something somebody would like to share?
Inspiring lecture. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, when you were describing these people that are only inviting sadhus home for their entertainment, and I just wanted to ask for some advices how to really nurture sincerity, that it wouldn't also happen in like my case, for example. So how to really nourish this sincerity, for some advices.
Yeah, you should, as I understand it, is we should see devotional service for what it is. It's, okay, the sadhus are famous for their kind of material achievements also, because of their austerity, their penance, their way of developing sattva gun, but this is not their essence, this is not who they really are. The devotional service, the loving relationship with the Lord that they are cultivating is their real asset, right? And if we just see the periphery of who they are, we're not really understanding what they represent, and we kind of like missed the point. We kicked in the dark, right? And obviously there's gonna be some benefit, but it's not the full mercy that you can get from them. And it's basically just a reflection of your understanding. It's not really, okay, on this matter you kind of like don't see it clearly. No, it's just your general understanding of devotional service, of Krishna consciousness, that kind of reflects that, like that. So it's not just a little local problem, but it's you have to reinstall the software, or how to say, tweak the software. Yeah, like that. Thank you. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.